Did anyone else notice the Leon pose here? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 38 of the Journey's anime titled The Colossal Restoration and the Fossil Pokémon just dropped, and in this episode, our heroes head over to Pewter as Go attempts to get a fossil. We know from the intro what fossil it's going to be, but how is he going to get it? Well, let's find out. While this episode is your standard fare, this episode does have a lot of jokes that I enjoyed in it. This episode begins with Ash and Go finding out that the biggest Shieldon restored from a fossil ever is being showcased in Pewter. Chloe also happens to be in the room when this news comes out, but she's too busy trying to figure out what to write for her school project. So, her father, Professor Cerise, convinces her that maybe she should write about fossils, and Ash and Go oblige, dragging her to Pewter. Once there, she's basically plays the straight man to the goofball as she coldly tells them to give up when they find out that the exhibition for the Shieldon is super packed, causing it to close. But just their luck, as they hear someone else say that if people want, they can dig for fossils, and if it's good enough, they can restore it and keep it. And just like before, they drag Chloe into this facility. Inside we see Team Rocket, who are also digging for fossils, but they can't find anything. So we know they're also going to be involved in this episode. I just love how anytime they do something and are failing, and Jessie always complains about, oh, who started this, it's always her. That never fails to amuse me. In this site, they meet what they presume is the chief from the Unova episode, but he says that isn't him. He's the president. Now, is this like the Master Fisher, Master Golfer guy from Sun and Moon? I thought that was supposed to be the joke, but in this case, it's played much more straight, so I don't really know what to think. Is he the same guy but with a different job, or is it a different guy that just looks similar? Is it like one of those Nurse Joy things where all hikers look the same and speak the same but are different people? Anyways, everyone starts digging around, and this episode is actually legitimately educational for kids as they actually discuss fossils, excavations, and give a pretty good explanation of it. Not just relating to Pokemon, but real world in general. At times, this made the episode feel a bit slow since it felt like a lot of info dump, but you have to remember, this is a show for young kids. Chloe finds the fossil of what looks like a shelter, while Go and his Golurk dig out for some more fossils. She decides that she wants to find out what this fossil could be because it doesn't look like anything she's seen before, so her and Ash decide to take this to the president while Go is so focused on digging that he didn't even hear anything that they said. It's good to see Chloe and Ash interact normally. Usually he says something to her and she responds sarcastically, and that's about it. We never really get to see much interaction between them together, so anytime we do, it's great. They come back and it's almost nighttime and Go is still digging around with his Golurk and he hasn't found anything. Even his Sobble has fallen asleep and he doesn't notice that Ash and Chloe are back or were even gone at any point. Now, this is the one thing I didn't like about this episode. Even though this is meant to be funny, after realizing he's dug for hours and hasn't found anything, he just looks left and sees something shiny, which turns out to be the old amber. I get it, okay? The joke is that if he wasn't so focused on digging, he probably would have found other things. But in this case, it just feels like he found the old amber with really no buildup, which, why? What's even the point of that? But as we'll see, the rest of the episode is going to make up for that. So they take the old amber to the president, and after the president explains to them what that does, he puts it in the restoration machine and tells them it's going to be until morning before it gets restored. Our heroes decide to sleep at the local Pokemon Center for the night, and the president leaves the restoration machine to do its thing. But I mentioned Team Rocket before, and here's where they come back. They've been hiding in the vent the last couple of hours, and after everyone leaves, they finally show up. Even though they heard the president say that it would take till morning for it to restore, Jessie's so impatient that she tries to get James to do something on the computer. But again, her plan backfires, and they accidentally blow up the machine. There is fantastic drama build-up here because Go is running to the museum after they hear the explosion, and he sees the president with the old amber, and he asks about the amber, and when the president pulls it out, it looks like it's broken, but then the president says, somehow, this thing has already come back to life, dun dun dun. So, while the build-up here is great, this completely tramples on logic. What's the explanation for why this Aerodactyl was able to be restored in a matter of a couple hours? They bring it up, but then they never try to explain it away. How did the old Amber explode, yet the Aerodactyl was still able to come back to life? That's a massive plot hole in the episode, and it's not addressed at all. This at least leads to a funny bit where they're chasing after the Aerodactyl, but then Pikachu stops at a bush because he feels something, and as the audience, we know that Go is near the Aerodactyl, so it can't be the Aerodactyl. We expect it to be a fake out or something, but no, it's a double fake out, as it's Team Rocket hiding behind a bush, and after being found, they sheepishly tell Ash, "Oh, hello." That is comedy. This leads to them singing their motto, bringing out their prize master, you know, the regular. So now it's basically two things happening at once. Go is fighting the Aerodactyl, and at first he tries to battle it with Raboot, but gets wrecked with ancient power, so he brings out his Golurk to fight it. And Ash is fighting Jesse and James, who bring out a Graveler and Nidorino from the prize master against his Pikachu 2-on-1. We don't get most of Ash's fighting here, just the ending, and in it, he has Pikachu use the Electro Web strategy, but in this case, instead of bouncing off of it, he has Pikachu go through it so that the Graveler bounces off of it, bouncing back to Team Rocket and making them blast off. Again, nice play from Ash. For Go, he's taken a lot of attacks from Aerodactyl because his Golurk can handle it, and now he's managed to slow him down. He then has Golurk use Arm Hammer followed by Flash Cannon to get the Aerodactyl down. But in a moment of growth, instead of just chucking a Pokeball at it and capturing it, he gets close to this angry Pokemon and calms it down, offering to help the prehistoric flyer get used to this new era, which it accepts, and that's how Go captures this Aerodactyl. And really, because of this, it really does feel earned. In the background, we can see that Chloe really found this to be an awesome experience, so we end the episode with her saying that she really enjoyed the trip, surprising her father and maybe even Ash and Go. This episode is more likable than you would think it would be. It does a great job of splitting up and showing the strengths of both Go and Ash and capturing and battling respectively. The only issue I had was just that we know that next episode, Ash is rematching B, right? So instead of using Pikachu to fight Team Rocket 2-on-1, I would have loved to see him use Riolu. We haven't got to see it after Ash got his confidence back 2 episodes ago. I don't know, I know they want to keep its battle a surprise for the episode for the rematch itself, but like I said in that episode, when he lost his confidence, you need to build that back up, him regaining his confidence. Otherwise, the loss doesn't mean anything. And unfortunately, it seems like that's going to be the case. Now, that's not a critique on this episode. I'll talk more about this the next episode, but my point is, this episode had the opportunity to help bridge that gap by having Riolu battle in a 2-on-1 instead of Pikachu. Anyways, Chloe enjoying Pokemon is always fun to see. Her interactions with Ash here felt fantastic and friendly unlike in the past, and she really is a great character with some funny moments. I really hope we get to see more of her. I think next to go, she might be the best developed character in Journeys. Yeah, even more so than Ash. So yeah, overall it's a solid episode. If you haven't checked it out already, I think you'll enjoy it. Check it out. I am really excited for this next episode. Looks like we're going to see a little bit more of a humanized side for B before the rematch. Is Ash going to win? Is he going to struggle again? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But anyways, that is it for this episode of Journeys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. It helps me out tremendously. And comment down below, what did you think of this episode? You can follow me on Twitter @TheRealPDGaming. And that is it. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.